Thank you for being here. My name is Eva Ferreira. I'm going to talk about this wonderful song called Take On Me. And it's kind of an 80s music. And it had some wonderful music, really catchy. And at the same time, it had a wonderful music video with these great animations. And the thing is, I'm really bad at music, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the wow animations, because it's like animations, it's like my life goal. I really enjoy making this kind of completely useless animations, like why can't I grab Harry Potter's invisibility cloak and put some CSS gradients in it, and why not? I mean, if you can, you should do that. So I'm Eva, I'm a front-end developer by day, protector of useless creativity at night. I'm also a Mozilla Tech speaker and an organizer of CSSCon for Argentina. By the way, my name is actually Maria Evangelina Ferreira Kuzminski, but it's just too long. So what is this thing? Well, this is something called rotoscoping. It's an animation technique that has more than 100 years. It came from the movie industry and slowly gets its way into music videos. So we can see it here in Take On Me in 1985, but also a couple of years later with Green Day, or Lily Allen, or Paramore with Hard Times. And Paramore again, because they just love it, with Caught in the Middle the year after. And let us not forget the best one, not really, but Justin Bieber. He used it too this very year. So this animation technique basically consists of recording a video, a completely normal video, and drawing on top. And you need to draw about 15 to 25 images per second of video, so that's a lot of work. You could be drawing like all day and push play, and then you got 3 seconds. It will be the best 3 seconds of your life, but only 3 seconds. So it takes a lot of time to turn something like this into something like this, which looks amazing. So right now, if you had to do this, you would probably use something like Photoshop and a Wacom tablet, but you can also do it by hand, and that would be much interesting. So a couple of years before, in 2017, this video came out by Paramore, Hard Times is called. And I started to consider what is going on in the web. How are we kind of taking so many traditional animation techniques and putting them on the web? So if we take a look at what we have now, we can try to find something like stop motion, which is something that comes again from the movie industry, and how it got its way into the web, and the same with motion graphics. So if you are looking into stop motion, I highly recommend like following Rachel Nawers on Twitter or watching her open, or just try to find her in YouTube, because she has so many amazing videos to teach you how to do stop motion in the web. And if you're into motion graphics, I must recommend Chris Cannon, who does this really amazing, and I know it's kind of useless, but a pixel spinner, because you can, then you should do that. So a pixel spinner in SVG and JavaScript, and this is something like motion graphics, but running in the web. And also, Julia Mustafarova, I'm definitely mispronouncing her name, but you can find her on CodePen and on Twitter, and she does these wonderful things only with CSS, and it's so great. So I wonder if we can go further. I wonder if we can do something else besides what we got now. I wonder if we can do rotoscoping on the web. No, we can't. No, why? Well, because rotoscoping is something so manual, it's so artisan. It's the hand and the soul of the artist put into a paper, or put into, in this case, a frame. And it's so wonderful, and it needs a soul. And my computer doesn't have a soul yet. So we cannot do rotoscoping. But anyway, we can still take some of the things that make rotoscoping great and put them on the web. So rotoscoping is basically layers on top of each other. And also, the thing about the web is that it's interactive. And it's something that we don't have in music videos. Music videos are very interactive. We can watch them, we can enjoy them, we can dance to it, but we cannot really click on it or drag something. But in the web, we can. So we can put these two things together and try to do something interesting with it. So let's take a look at this part of the Hard Times video. So what we got here is 3 layers. The background layer, which is this kind of blue and yellow animation. The middle layer, with these 2 people dancing. And then the top layer, with these drawings on top, this kind of rotoscoping. And if we look at the behind the scenes, it's really interesting. It's just this. And it looks really, really funny. So it's these two people dancing in the green background. Then the green background was removed. It was replaced with this black and yellow animation. Then this video was reverted. It's actually the other way around in the final video. And then the draw on top. So you got these 3 layers to actually make that animation. So this kind of green thing is really interesting, and maybe you have seen it before. It's really common in movies, especially in like fiction movies like Avengers. It's something called Chroma or Chroma key. It's a way of removing backgrounds. And the background has to be either green or blue. It cannot be anything else, only green or blue. And I have to have really good light to actually make that work. This is why the stage is boring now. It's not blue, the Nordic lights over there are gone. Northern lights, sorry. And it's all white and not this calm blue that it was before, sorry. So you need really good light. And when I say really good light, I mean you cannot use natural light. The sun is the devil. The sun is the worst whenever you want to work with animations. If you have ever worked on a stop motion, you know that you have to actually put the blinds down and work with a natural light, because otherwise it's an animation that will take you maybe 8 hours of work, 8 hours of taking pictures. And in those 8 hours, if you actually use the sun, well, the earth will move and the shadows will be a disaster. So we don't use natural light. Natural light is like the worst. Try to avoid it. We like this kind of lights. So let's see how we can make chroma key with a user's camera, because after all, we got a computer. Let's use it. First of all, we need to take the user's camera input and put it into a video tag so we stream what the computer is seeing. Then we will copy this content into a canvas tag. And then we will process the canvas. We will remove green or blue, and then we will add something else as background. So first step is take the user's camera. To do this, we use get user media, which is something that works in every kind of actual browser. Get user media, we will only ask for video. You can also get the microphone, but we are not interested in that. And it returns a promise. So if it works, you create your video tag, and you stream into that video tag the content of this streaming. So what you get when you use this is something like this pop-up that is in Spanish, but you probably know it. Will you allow this website to use your camera? And we say yes. So we go over there and we try it. So you got this video element with a camera input. And it's great, it works. So now step 2, we need to take this input and copy into a canvas. We create our canvas with an ID of canvas, because I'm really creative. And we allow it to the context. And now what we need to do is we need to put the video input, what the video is streaming, into our canvas. So to do this, what we actually do is call a function. We can create this, it's called draw. And we draw an image from the video that is streaming the content. From the top left corner, the 0, 0, to the width and height of the video, so to the bottom right corner. That won't really work the way we want, because that will only stream the first frame that the camera gets. It won't refresh. So we need to refresh it. Now I know there are so many amazing performance talk on the world, so this won't be one of them. I will be using set timeout. So set timeout calls the function all the time, and that works beautifully. So you get something like this. You got the video on the left and the canvas on the right, and my cat. So everything that is streaming into the video tag is being copied into the canvas. So now we can finally work with the canvas. To remove green or blue, we actually need to understand pixel manipulation. So this means, what is a pixel? And I know I'm in the front-end conference, so pretty much everybody knows what is a pixel, but let's take a closer look just in case. So if we take this image, we can pretend something like this is a pixel. It's the tiniest part of this image. And it's given to us in a format of RGB. So if we take a look at this pink color is actually composed of this red, this green, and this blue. So RGB is a format that goes from 0 to 255, 0 being completely black, and 255 being the strongest red, the strongest green, and the strongest blue. So in this case, we have a very strong red, a kind of dark green, and some blue. But we also got the alpha channel. And I know it doesn't seem like something important in video because we don't have transparency in videos, but anyway, that will be returned to us as information from the image. So the alpha channel tells the transparency of this video or the pixel. So when we ask for pixel information, we will get RGBA. We will get the red, the green, the blue, and the alpha value. That it will always be 255 because there is no transparency, unless we change it, and that's the trick. So to make Chroma happen, we will find the green pixels, and we will turn the alpha of those green pixels into 0. To find the green pixels, what we are going to do is we are going to use a function called getImageData. That function will return all the data of the current frame of the canvas, and it will refresh all the time. And I did something that I wouldn't recommend. I console log this. So what happens is that I got this, which looked really nice at first. It's like, OK, the height of the video is 480, the width is 640, and here it is, your array of 1.2 million units. Why not? OK. Where does the number come from? Because it looks completely random. Well, it's actually the width of the video multiply the height of the video multiply 4. And 4 because it's the RGBA information of every pixel. Isn't it amazing? Yes. So I open it, and I open it again, and again, and once more. And I finally got to the information. So I got completely random numbers, only they are not random. They have a sequence. That sequence is 255. So I know there is no transparency in videos, so that is the alpha value. And if that is the alpha value, then we can actually guess the other values. It's RGBA, RGBA, RGBA. So if we take a look at the first pixel of this frame, the first one on the top left corner, we see these values. And these values are equivalent to an RGBA of 55, 74, 86, and 1. That looks something like this. It's kind of boring. It's kind of bluish. Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to work with that. So we need to loop through all those millions of dots and to ask, OK, do we have more red, more green, or more blue? So we do that with an if statement, and it will work. So if we find that we have more green than red and more green than blue, then we take the alpha of that pixel and we turn it into 0. And then we return this data. So we get something like this. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't look really well. That looks really ugly. So what is going on? Well, we had two things to fix. First of all, that is natural light. That's why it's a devil, you see. It takes away my hair. And the other reason is that it gets confused with actually hair or brown colors or gray colors. When colors are not really shiny, when they are really dark, they confuse the machine. Because a dark color like 55, 66, and 52 won't be easily recognized because at the end it's just a brown or it's just a gray. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of the dark colors. So we will actually only remove the greens if the green is bigger than 100. So we can make sure that it's not a gray or a brown. So we get something like that. And it's almost OK. I mean, there is something going on with my T-shirt. I know what you're going to say. It's a Harry Potter T-shirt. It's magical. And it is. But also, it's white. And white is not a good idea. White takes a lot of the ambient lights. So I just did what every developer would have done. I didn't change my code. I changed my T-shirt. So now, as you can see, it works perfectly. This is what we are going to do. This is why I'm wearing black today. So let's try a light demo, and let's see how it goes. So what you see here is on the left, the streaming of the video, and on the right, the canvas. It's a Hogwarts background, because if it can be somewhere else, of course, you are going to be in Hogwarts. So I'm going to try it. I have two cameras. I'm going to use this camera that's a little bit better than the one from my computer. And let's allow. OK. So green works a little bit weird, because there's kind of a green aura around here. It's probably my Slytherin soul. So I'm going to turn it into blue. And blue works pretty much perfect. It's like, oh, I'm in Hogwarts. I always wanted that. And I have, it's not necessary because that looks really bluish, but I also have this. So you can see blue here. And I will try green so you can actually see it anyway. So it's on my face, and it's also here. So it picks up the green, or it picks up the blue, and it suddenly works. We don't use red because our faces have a tendency to be reddish. Okay? So that's why we try to avoid red. So let's try something funnier. I put this Howard's image, but I could put whatever I want. I could put kittens or dogs, or the background without me. And that's interesting, because that is how you make an invisibility cloak. Yes. So to do this, we actually need to take a picture of our background. So I'm going to open the camera. We got the right camera, yes. And we take a picture without me. Yay, a smile. So now we got the picture. We are going to use that as background. So we find it here. We copy the file. And we copy the name of the file. And we modify our CSS. This is the CSS. And in here you can see Howard's. So we change Howard's for this dot, that. And let's try again. So now we got this background. I know it looks boring, but if you try it at home later with more stuff, that's so interesting. So we allow the use of the camera again in here. Come on. There you go. And we will filter blue, because, again, green is weird right now. So hi, blue. And then you disappear, because that's the best thing you can do. Boom. It's great. Thank you. This is honestly, I think, the best dress code for conferences when you are an introvert. So it's not on sale. All right, so final remarks on all this. This was my fallback in case it didn't work. Let's talk about more pixel manipulation. Let's take another closer look at this amazing video of Hard Times. I really like it. So this is the singer in the middle, and a kind of copy of her dancing at both of her sides. This is 100% rotoscoping. It's made by hand, and they copy it on both of her sides. So I'm not going to dance. That would be really awkward, and Taylor Swift is going to dance for me. So we got this picture of Taylor Swift dancing with the green background. We are going to use this as input, no longer the camera in my computer. We are going to remove the background with the same code that we have right now. We are going to duplicate Taylor Swift. Great. And to duplicate Taylor Swift, I made 3 canvases, but you can actually use only one and copy the offset in the same canvas too. And then what I did after this is basically turn them pink. And to turn them pink, you actually need to remember that we have RGB. So if we want something like pink, what we need is to have blue and red. So blue and red will give us some pink. Okay? So high values of blue and red. But high values of blue and red, not in the background. The background is gone on what is left of the background. So we do something like that. We use an else statement, and in the else, what is left of the green filter, we will turn the 0 value and the number 2 value, which is the red and the blue, into 200. So that's an OK value. It's a really high value, but not exaggerating with 250. And that will give us some pink. So we get something like this. That is great. But you know what? It's even better if we add kittens. So this is how you do that. Or, since we are in a front-end development event, if we use React. Because every conference needs a React something. So I know it's not rotoscoping, it's not exactly the same, but it has so many possibilities, and you can actually have a lot of fun with this. In rather than see your browser, there is no need for extra software. Like when I was a kid, I used to do this with Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. I don't need that anymore. I got my browser. So I hope you like it, and I recommend all these links in case you want to play along. And there's a green screen online. Be careful. I wouldn't recommend opening it on your phone. It crashed mine. So just beware of that. Thank you very much.